สิ่งที่เรามักจะพลาดบ่อยๆก่อนที่เราจะขึ้นพูด presentation เป็นภาษาอังกฤษต่อหน้าคนเยอะๆเนี่ยคือเรามักจะลืมหรือเราอาจจะไม่รู้ว่าจะทำยังไงลืมที่จะวิเคราะห์จุดแข็งของตัวเองวิเคราะห์ผู้ฟังและวิเคราะห์เวทีหรือสถานการณ์สถานที่ที่เราจะพูดอย่างละเอียดฟังดูแบบโหมันก็ง่ายๆป้ามันอยู่ในหัวอยู่แล้วแต่จริงๆแล้วมันมีรายละเอียดเยอะมากเลยนะคะที่เราอาจจะมองข้ามไปจนทำให้เวลาที่เราพูดหรือพรีเซนต์เป็นภาษาอังกฤษเนี่ยบางทีอาจจะได้ผลลัพธ์ที่มันไม่พอใจเราเท่าไหร่เพราะฉะนั้นวันนี้คณะเลยเอาตัวอย่างบทเรียนจากคอร์ส Speak Brilliantly Excel at Public Speaking and Presentation in English ถึงเทคนิควิธีให้เราเตรียมตัวให้พร้อมที่เป็นรายละเอียดที่เราต้องรู้ก่อนที่จะพูด presentation ที่จะทำให้เราพูดได้แบบมั่นใจโดนใจผู้ฟังและน่าจดจำมากยิ่งขึ้นค่ะไปดูกันเลย Oh didn't see you there welcome เหมือนปะ acting ได้ปลอมมากกลัวทุกคนเบื่อ Alright so this is another video lesson of this course and I could say that this is a nitty gritty the main subject, the main topic of this course because it's really extremely important in how you craft your message, how you capture your audience attention, and every other techniques that we are going to look at throughout this course. And I think it affects a lot of things. It affects how you give a speech, how you get the response, and everything. So we are going to take a look at this. So three main things today is about first your strength. Yeah. So your strength is actually more about like what you have to offer, your value, right? So make sure that you demonstrate your qualities, your value conspicuously to demonstrate it clearly, conspicuously, so that it sounds fancy. Demonstrate it clearly. You want to make sure that in every stage, people know exactly that you're of what kind of value they're gonna get, what you have to offer. But of course, if you have all the value in the world, but then your audience kind of like, I'm not interested in that. Or it can be, as the quote say, Theodore Roosevelt once say, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I'm quoting Theodore Roosevelt now. Yeah, so it's true. It still holds true, even for public speaking and presentation, because you need to really know exactly what your audience is like, what they want from you, to be able to give them exactly what they want, so that you can perfect that speech or presentation. And last but not least are also your platform or your stage. How you communicate in each platform is different from one another. Is it online? Is it offline? Is it formal? Is it informal? We have to look at that and really make a clear choices when we design and plan for a presentation, right? So we're gonna look at all of that in this video lesson. Let's go. Starting with your strength. I know that for some people, we might feel like we're good at something. And we feel like when we get on stage, how do I show people that I'm good at this? Or sometimes some people might feel like, maybe like they think I'm not that good. I'm not supposed to be speaking here. If you're like me, you're like the latter. I feel like a lot of times, even after doing speaking engagement for so many years already, there's gonna be some stage that I take the stage and then I feel like, am I qualified enough to be here? Or like, are they gonna be disappointed with this presentation or something like that? So what you want to make clear, first of all, is to know exactly your value and strength, right? And of course, there are some common tips and tricks or international standards that could be like standard principles that, okay, you should be like this, you should speak like this, you should look like this for public speaking or presentation. But not every speaker are the same, right? And you shouldn't have to be like everyone else. So there's no one single pattern for how you should exactly be. Right? You don't need to be like someone else. Yeah, oh, I really like this speaker, so everyone in the world should be like this speaker. So, of course, you have to find the best version of you to shine on that stage, right? And it's pretty much like SWOT analysis for public speaking. So here's what you can do to find out. It's these assessment, this analysis is not yet about speaking ability อันนี้ยังไม่เกี่ยวกับความสามารถในการพูดเนาะซึ่งเดี๋ยวเราจะค่อยๆแบบว่าบิวกันไปตลอดทีละเรื่องให้เรามีทุกอย่างที่เราคิดว่าถ้าเรามีแล้วเราจะพูดเก่งขึ้นเราจะพูดได้โปรขึ้นโดดเด่นมากยิ่งขึ้น we'll build that along the way of course but this is just what outside of public speaking ability what outside of that can you offer? What are the main values, right? Your character, your resources, your personality, your connection, your work, education skills, all the advantages you have. And to know your strength, I have prepared you a set of questions. A set of questions that you can ask yourself. And nobody else know you better than you, right? So of course, these are the things that help me to define what kind of values I have to offer for my audience. Number one is, of course, what kind of information do I have that other people are going to benefit from? Yeah. Maybe they want to know it, maybe they don't want to know it, but you know for sure that if you talked about this, people would want to know this, would want to learn this, right? They're going to benefit from it, they could do their work better, they can live a better life, whatever it is. What kind of information do you have? Identify that right at the front, yeah? And the second thing is what advantages do I have that others probably don't? And this, you don't have to be like, I'm pretty good looking. Not like that, but something that helps you with your content, some things that help you with that the audience is going to benefit from because maybe they lack that experience, they have this certain limitation to do this and that. It can be skills, certifications, education, or certain connections that you have. The next is, what have I been working on? Or the things that I dedicated my time towards. So, for example, I'm very good at, physics. Yeah, I'm very good at physics, for example. I'm very good at physics. I spend 8 hours, 10 hours every single day perfecting my formula, or I'm an engineer. I'm very good at construction with this, that, with this like mechanic, blah, blah, blah. So the people in the audience probably have not spent that much time on this craft or on this project as much as I did. So it's not about me being better than other people. It's about what I direct my time and energy towards. คือเราใช้เวลากับเรื่องอะไรเราก็อาจจะมีมุมมองมีความรู้มีข้อมูลที่มากกว่าคนอื่นๆ It's not about I'm better than everyone else. You don't have to find the strength in that way. You can do it like this. Okay. Next is what personal resources can I access? Maybe you work in a certain company or organization, or you know someone that could get you the resources, information, data, number that you want to show the people. It can be the unique experience that you have to share. You pass this trauma or like very lessons learned, or it can be like a very difficult experience. It can be very unique experience, yeah? Or what are my strongest character traits? And this will help you find out what speaking style you want to have, or what side of you that you want to show to the people. And everyone, of course, we have some like weaknesses. We have something that we feel like people probably not like that. And you also have something that you feel like people would find it much more interesting, much more convincing. That side of you want to show that to the people. So you have to identify it first. For example, this is just my personal example added. If I were to do like, ladies and gentlemen, today this course is about perfecting every single sentences. And as you have watched this video lessons now, you probably already know that I'm not near perfect. I would be like, I would be like, oh, what am I forget something. I'll be like looking at my script every now and then. I'll be like moving away too much. But that's kind of like my strongest character traits. Some people might find me like, she always like, she doesn't take things seriously. She's not formal. She's can I be formal? Can I be like, ladies and gentlemen? I can, but that's not my strongest character traits, right? So I want to show my best sides to the people that is willing to take information with this delivery style. Yeah. So there are some people like you that have been watching me and not get annoyed by me and find it entertaining that sometimes she will be like, dun, 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 right? So that's how it goes. You find your own character traits. It doesn't have to be like everyone else. Yeah. Okay. Next is what was the best feedback or response I have received and for which part or what part of the element of the speech. You may have given a speech before. And people might have complimented me. Oh, I really like that part. Oh, I really like when you joked about this. Oh, I really like blah, blah, blah. Which part of it? And try to see that. And how can I maximize that? How can I put more of that? Something like that. Okay. For example, for me, my example again, people like it when I do a little bit of acting here and there, a little bit of exaggeration here and there. It helps them understand and digest better. And it's mildly entertaining as well. So that's something I try to put into my content, my teaching style, my speaking style a little bit more. Something like that. Okay, sounds good. Next thing is, what have others complimented me about? It can be your personality. It can be your speaking style. Maybe your voice is very like crispy, like wow. Can be. So that are the things that could be helpful as well. It doesn't have to do with speaking ability yet, just you. Yeah. The next thing, apart from asking yourself questions, maybe you want to have others people opinion. Maybe I'm self-absorbed, maybe I think too much about myself, so I don't want to be self-centered. So you can ask other people with an asterisk though. Like, don't go ask anybody. Of course you know this, but the people that I recommend you ask is, number one, the people who are in your target audience. Maybe you could be talking to this person and they're in this group of audience. So you might want to ask them. You can have a small talk with them, or people in the same arena only. I'm not sure if anybody watching this is a content creator now, but if you're a content creator, it's very... we are very prone to all sorts of criticism and feedback. Yeah. What I really advise for any content creator out there or any speaker out there is to look for feedback from the people in the same arena to understand what you're going through, what are the steps, what are the things what it takes to be here and talk and excel at it. Yeah. So sometimes it's good to get a feedback, but we have to balance it out with, maintaining your level of confidence. Yeah, so make sure that you either get the feedback from people in your target audience or people in the same arena doing the same thing that you're doing in the same pursuit. Yeah, okay. And the last thing is to record yourself. Maybe if I ask myself questions, I couldn't see myself speaking. And of course, sometimes, when I'm speaking like this and I hear myself talking now, it's not the same as when I actually watch or other people watch me. If you don't want to ask other people, you can also record yourself and make your own assessment. Okay, watch. How did I speak? How did I pronounce this thing? Yeah, and we're going to talk about that even more in the last video of the unit. If you download, and I hope you download the Speak Brilliantly guidebook already, in the last page of this booklet, there's going to be like a table. Yeah, this is self-assessment, or you can like let other people assess for you, but this is oral presentation assessment rubric. Yeah, so it will be something like this. Oh, this is how horrible it looks for me. Yeah, so it looks pretty much like this. So it will be something that you assess yourself, give yourself a score, give yourself a comment for the things that you did well, for the things that you feel like you need improvement. Yeah, but there should not just be like it's bad or it's good. It's not good enough, like I'm not confident enough, I didn't pronounce well. You want to be very specific in how you assess yourself, and we will talk about that at the very last video lesson of this course, so don't worry yet. Now we can learn and enjoy these things, learning this and that, and at the end, when you feel like you're ready, we can start assessing yourself. Okay, so these are the things that I think help me identify my strengths, yeah, and help me with my speaking ability to improve further. Yeah. So now it's your turn. I have already shared my examples, so it's your turn to assess your strengths for self-presentation or personal branding. You don't have to be like everyone else. You can be you, but the best version of yourself, okay? So maybe pause this video for about like 7 to 10 minutes and maybe start asking yourself questions, listing things out that you feel like, wow, yeah, it's me. Maybe like 5 to 10 minutes. It's up to you, how long ever you want, yeah? So pause this video and start listing down your strengths. Let's do it. Did you do it? How awesome you are. I know you're awesome people because you're with me because I'm awesome. ทุกคนบอกเรียนอะไรเนี่ย Alright, so now that you're cool with your strengths, I think it helps with your confidence, number one. Number two is to know exactly what way you want to shine to the people. Maybe it's the left side of me because I look better on the left side. Something like that. It's pretty much like that, yeah? But of course, it would be the most important step of all is usually, of course, every presenter, every speaker want to get the desired response from your audience. And to do that, you must truly know them, not just roughly, but truly know them, because it influences every decision you make along the way, and you probably have to keep adapting, changing it a little bit here and there as you know more about them. People make judgment. Yeah, people make judgment. It's how our brain are wired. So it's likely that people will judge you. Yeah. What you say, and that's how we feel intimidated when we giving speech. Of course we feel intimidated because we know people are gonna judge you, right? But they are going to judge you based on what they already know and believe. Yeah, so you should be able to explain to them why they should understand, they should know, they should believe this based on what they know, not on what you know, right? So what we're going to do together is analyze step by step together. The first step is to analyze the demographic audience. Yeah, demographic audience analysis. Yeah, so the what seems to be a simple characteristics of your audience. For example, the age. Yeah, the age, how old they are, and it's not just like young or old people, but like maybe the age group, because the common values and experiences of each generation are different from one another. If you're talking to kids, you have to be exactly another thing, right? If you're talking to teens, adolescents, working age group, to senior citizens, something like that, it's all different because their common values, their priorities, their beliefs are different, right? The next thing is the gender, and of course most of the time it's mixed. Yeah, it's a basic information. It helps because maybe you want to provide more examples that is related more to men, related more to women. It depends, yeah. So it would be nice to have that in mind as well. Nationalities, right? Or yeah, people, what nationalities or religions or something like that they belong to a certain culture, cultural background and stuff. Yeah, social and cultural background could be something like what are the things that if you talked about Thai culture, about certain words, certain examples to a room full of like Caucasian men, it's gonna be a little bit awkward because they cannot relate to your examples, right? So keep that in mind as well. Yeah. And of course, group membership. This is very important because what kind of jobs they are kind of entails what values, what experience they have, right? Economic position. It's actually a fancy word for like how rich, how poor. It's pretty much like how much income do they earn? Yeah, what kind of like financial background do they have? Because the lifestyles would be different. The education level also different, right? Or education, usually they graduated from this, or usually they have this level of education, yeah, and place of residence where they are located. Maybe they were located in this country, in this places, and then they moved here, something like that. If you know these, it will help you a lot more. Yeah. Another thing is situation audience analysis. Means it depends on the situation, right? So it's not just about the person, but the whole situation that you need to understand, right? The first is the size of audience. How big, how small? Is it 10 people? Is it 100 people? Is it 1,000 people? How big or small, yeah? And is it formal? Audience and size and audience, of course, also how formal, like people are like business suit and tie, like something like that. And we will talk about that in a platform, analyzing platform and stage as well. So the size, how big, how small. Yeah. And people in this room are more likely or less likely to have this belief or have this opinion on the topic. For example, you know that, okay, there are 10 people, let's say 20 people in this room, and you know that they're not really interested in the thing that you're going to talk about, then you have to work a lot more on how you can relate to them and connect them with a topic, right? Or maybe they enroll for this, they register for this, so they are really eager to do this, but they don't have the background knowledge about it much. They're like beginner level of this thing. So then you want to provide a lot of background information. Yeah. So think about how they might be how interested in they are in the topic. What are the things they usually interested about? Or the things, problems, the concern, the worries that they have. Do they feel like, I like this topic, but I'm scared about this. You want to know that? Then knowledge, how much knowledge do they have about that topic? And also language proficiency. And sometimes you speak in a room full of native speakers, that's fine. That's one thing, right? Then your problem would be like, how do I sound like a native speaker? How do I sound proficient, right? But if it's people who use English as a second language, it's another scenario, right? So you want to be able to make sure that the message you give is not too hard, not too complicated, slow enough for people to digest, something like that. Okay, so these are the situational audience analysis. Another thing apart from the topic, to you, what are their opinions, what are they thinking about you, right? The relationship they have with you. Are they your customers? Are they your partners? Are they your boss? Are they your board of members? Who are they? Or just strangers? Who are they to you? Yeah? Or who are you to them? Right? So you want to be able to do that. And also another thing is, do you have the established credibility already? Means you are the boss already. So you walk in there, they know they have to listen to you. Or pretending to listen to you. Or you're from this renowned organization. So people are already like, she's from Harvard. Oh, she's from Stanford. So that's easier. Yeah, that's easier. So you want to keep that in mind because it will affect you whether or not how much of credibility statement, which we will look at in the next unit. Yeah, how much of credibility statements you have to put in your speech. เราต้องพยายามทำให้เขารู้สึกว่าแบบเฮ้ยเราไม่ธรรมดานะนายมากน้อยแค่ไหนถ้าไม่ต้องมากเราจะได้ใส่เนื้อหาได้มากแต่ถ้ามันต้องมีกันหน่อยเนี่ย then you have to design it right okay so something like this now it's not just knowing but you have to adapt to your audience as well otherwise why would we know it for right so the things that you can do to of course we'll keep going in detail these are the things that you have to keep in mind first but as we go along the journey then you will know what exactly you have to do in each part each skill to adapt to best fit your audience yeah so first thing is to see things from their perspective